You're listening to The Connection on 95.7 The Jet, a weekly public affairs show that keeps you connected to the issues and resources in your community.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of The Connection. We are your hosts, Luciana and Pedro Bartes. If you think our only chances of getting a national basketball champion rest only in the storms, you are wrong. There are men and women all over the Puget Sound that are now getting ready to bring home another basketball title. And we're not talking March Madness. The National Wheelchair Basketball Association's National Championship is being held in Louisville, Kentucky, April 16th through the 19th, and we are sending our best to claim their titles. Seattle Adaptive Sports provides an opportunity for youth and adults with physical disabilities in the Puget Sound to experience fitness and recreation. Their programs include wheelchair sled hockey, power soccer, track and field, and of course, basketball. 4 of their basketball teams have made it to the national championship, but they need to raise some serious money to be able to send every player. To talk about Seattle Adaptive Sports and their fundraising efforts, we're joined today by Tammy English, co-founder of Seattle Adaptive Sports, Mike Schiller, who recently started playing wheelchair basketball after being diagnosed with MS about 9 years ago, and Malik Williams, who after finding himself indulged in a gang-related shooting was helped by Seattle Adaptive Sports in getting his life together. Tammy English, Mike Schiller, Malik Williams, thank you so much for being part of this show today.
Thank you for having us.
Well, let's talk about Mike. Mike approached us and told us about Seattle Adaptive Sports. Tell us your story. You have MS, right?
I do. I have MS. I was diagnosed with MS about 9 years ago. Which was a very traumatic time in my life. I went from being very capable of doing a lot of different things to one day waking up and losing almost all of my feeling in my lower left side and most of my upper left side. And it went from a very depressed why me to trying to understand MS a little bit better, to getting the therapy I needed to really learn how to get around and do the things I do in everyday life. I will say that the one thing I've learned through Seattle Adaptive Sports is I have it easy. I felt very bad for myself for a period of time, but I can look around me and see some of the challenges people have in their lives and realize that I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate to be able to still get around with the use of a cane. But 9 years ago, I was diagnosed with MS. It was a tough period of my life. I had great support, great family to support me throughout that. But my life had changed, certainly. And one of my biggest passions at that time was basketball. And I was very sad, very down that I had lost the ability to go out and play basketball and compete in basketball. For a few years, I was actually able to stand on a court and shoot the ball, and I was able to coach basketball with my son. But over the last 4 or 5 years, things really started to go downhill for me, where just getting around was becoming very, very difficult. I had learned about wheelchair basketball.
How did you hear about that?
Well, it's funny. I missed basketball so much. I missed competing. Probably I missed competing more than the actual sport of basketball. It's hard for anyone that goes out and exercises, who goes to the gym.
Yeah.
It's difficult to just go and get on the treadmill. It's difficult to go and lift the weights or do whatever it is.
You love the sport. You like talking to people about the sport. You like socializing with people when you shoot hoops. Yeah.
You bet. And you want to compete. Mm-hmm. You want to beat someone. You want to go out there and one up somebody, all in the spirit of competition. Mm-hmm. And to take that away was hard. It was difficult. Probably the most challenging ordeal that I had to go through with the MS, more than anything else, was the lack of ability to go out and compete, to try to be better than my competition. I had heard about some wheelchair basketball. I actually went out and watched some wheelchair basketball, but I really, a few years back, wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to sit in a chair and play. And maybe it was a pride thing. Maybe it was a feeling that I'm going to get better soon. So I don't have to do this. And for a few years, my wife kept telling me, let's just go do this. Let's ski. Let's do whatever it takes to get out and do what you want to do.
Wives are always right.
Well, my wife happens to be right a lot more than me. That is for sure. But it was about 6 months ago that my wife, who works with special needs students for the Mercer Island school system, had a physical therapy teacher at the school suggest that I speak with Seattle Adaptive Sports. She said they have a program. They play wheelchair basketball. They got my wife in touch with Tammy, and a few months back, I finally decided I'm gonna go to a practice. I showed up on a Saturday. Tammy got me a chair. I sat down in the chair and I started moving around and getting out there, and that in itself was a challenge. It's hard to be what you consider to be a relatively decent basketball player. Yeah. Now you are the worst guy on the court. I mean, not just the worst. It's the slowest. You can't shoot the ball. It's a whole different technique being used because you have no legs, and in Malik's case, no core to be able to use that to shoot.
And I always wonder, because your hands are pushing the chair, and all of a sudden you need to grab a ball too?
You have to dribble the ball. There are rules to
Wow.
how many basically pushes you can get, to the number of dribbles you have to have. It's very technical. I mean, it's a sport in itself. It's a unique sport. But I'll tell you, I had a very difficult time that first day. Almost brought me to tears. I'm not embarrassed to say, because the coaches, Walter and Christian, they threw me out there. They got me out there. They got me on the court. And by the end, I was actually scrimmaging with them. I was terrible. I sucked completely, but I was scrimmaging. And everyone out there was supportive. Everyone out there was trying to help me and positioning and how to move. And I've only been playing now for about 2 months, but I'm improving every single day. I'm loving it. I love being at practice, and they push us hard at practice. The team itself that I'm competing on, the Division III team, is ranked 24th in the nation, and we're going out to compete at nationals here in Louisville in April. And
so you got what you wanted.
I did, and I'm a part of it.
You're doing both things at the same time.
Right. Now, I spend a lot of time on the bench,
That's okay.
but I'm a part of a team, and I'm a part of a group of individuals that make me feel safe and comfortable for who I am and what I'm doing out there.
Now, Mike, has your outlook in life changed in some way?
It's changed dramatically. It's changed in multiple ways. Number one, I feel good about myself. That's important. I can get up each day and say, I've got practice today. I'm going to go and work hard at practice, and I'm going to give it 100%. And when we go out and scrimmage, I'm going to friggin' do my best out there. I'm not going to be the best player, per se, but I'm going to play as hard as I possibly can.
But you'll be your best.
I will be my best. As a matter of fact, the coach at one point said to the whole group, okay, so Mike isn't the fastest guy on the planet. And I said, well, hold on, Christian. I'm the fastest guy in my world. So give me a break here. But not only that, but I look around me and I see the challenges others have had, others like Malik and others on the team. And I can realize that everyone's got challenges. Everyone's got obstacles in their lives they have to get over.
Yeah.
And it's our job to take it amongst ourselves and overcome those obstacles. So my daily challenge, my daily mantra is to get up and say, I can do it. I can beat it. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to practice hard, and I'm going to compete hard.
So, Mike, you came here with a cane. Now, Malik, he came with his wheelchair.
Correct.
So...
Yeah, and we talked about how Seattle Adaptive Sports changed your life, but it also changed yours, Malik, right?
Yes.
Tell us your story, a little bit about what happened to you.
I was a kid, younger
You're still
than
a kid.
I am.
You're 18.
But growing up, I just loved basketball. That's all I've, wanted to play. I have a cousin, that's currently in the NBA right now, Tony Roten, and my auntie that got me connected with Seattle Adaptive Sports after my injury, and due to my injury, I've got, shot and, been going crazy as a kid, everywhere, and really just didn't care about life, due to family issues and things like that. And after my injury, I thought it was the end of the world. I really didn't want to be involved in anything, really. Just stayed home and ate, really just didn't care about the fitness life yet. Part of my life, being not disabled, but challenged. I don't like to view my injury as being disabled, because we throughout life, everyone has challenges, and we can overcome anything if we work hard at it, and so being in a wheelchair, it changed me, because my auntie, she came to me and was like, there's this great organization, Seattle Adaptive Sports, and they help kids continue going out there and like showing the world what we can do still. And once we show the world what we can do, maybe it can change the world. So I was like, all right, sure, I'll go out with you, auntie. And we went out to Miller Community Center, and that's the first time I met Tammy, and she brought this chair, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to hop in that chair, and so it was banged up pretty bad, so I was just like, no, I don't want to hop in that one, and my attitude was really, really bad,
Well, you were a teen that suffered a tremendous loss, so I mean, you probably felt like the world's against me.
Yeah, being paralyzed from the chest down, it just ruined my. It felt like it ruined my goals, the things that I worked for, maybe my future, and until after I've been there and just seen how people played, I was like, I just made assumptions about people. Maybe they've been born like this, they're happy like that, and after I've gone to the first practice and really seen, then it just left a lot of questions in my head for myself. Do you want to be miserable all your life, or do you want to go out there, show people what you can do, and actually, engage into becoming a better person? Because this program, it helps you, go into, college programs, things like that, help you get into universities, full rides, and things like that. I never really understood, the opportunity I have now, as a person with challenges, and so, being a person with challenges, there's a lot you see differently that other people might see. Maybe, we all have challenges, but maybe our challenges, aren't massive as other people's challenges. And so that's what made me keep pushing, and wanting to grow in this organization. And once I've, got comfortable myself, you look around and you look at other people, you talk with other people, you know that your story isn't different than any other person that's on that court pushing with you. Being a part of Seattle Adaptive Sports just helped me, it helped me realize that there's family, they're my family. Every guy on the court is my family, and that's, I'm gonna fight for them to the day, either whether it's on the court or off the court. We're fighting for each other, whether it's fundraising, whether it's, being friends outside in the community, whether it's traveling,
or
sharing,
teaching people like Mike, because actually,
especially,
you probably had to teach him now how to play, how to adapt himself to this new thing that he's doing. So you become functional part of Seattle Adaptive Sports now.
Now, listening to you two talking, I can see Tammy, and you look so proud, Tammy.
Yeah, it's like
I would like to ask you, what do you feel when you hear the stories coming out of Mike's and Malik's mouths?
He's not sharing his whole story, and that's the part, is to watch his story, is that he said he's been shot in the back. It changed his life. It put him in a different light of where he might go or not go. We got him introduced to basketball, and he had to fall away just for a little bit and still try to regroup. But basketball was that thing that saved him, and he's now on a path that is amazing. This is a boy who is going, young man, who will be, I believe, we will see at the Paralympics in probably 2020.
Representing our country. Nice.
He needs to get off to college, so he can practice 5 days a week, because we can't offer that here to him. And there are 8 colleges across the country that will offer that.
How was Seattle Adaptive Sports born, and when?
Back in 1991, a local Paralympian, Jim Martinson, out of the Puyallup area, developed a racer with some other people here in the area that is used today around the world for track and field. And so he was looking for some people to use it. So we found our kids back then. Some of those kids now are adults and playing on our basketball program or in other of our programs. And so it just sort of evolved. It was track and field, and then we got a swimming program going, and then this basketball thing happened. And we are the Junior Sonics, and there was a men's Sonics team around too, but we were a juniors program then. And so the basketball program started about 1999. We went to our first nationals in 2005. And we did a really big major reconstruction sort of our organization in 2008, where we brought in the adult program. And this year has been amazing. We have 5 basketball teams, 4 going to nationals. We have a women's team, the Seattle Storm, and we have 3 Seattle Sonics teams. We have the top division, a Division I team, was very first time this year. Didn't know if we'd make it to nationals. It's always the goal, but we made it to nationals. They're 10th in the country. And then our Division III, which is more of a recreational team, making it number 24 to the tournament out of over hundreds of teams across the country, that they made it to nationals. And nationals is that place. And then our juniors. And our juniors are ranked like top 5,
wow.
Top 5 in the country. And we have only one senior, so we've got another good year behind us yet.
Malik's not a
senior yet. Yeah, so we got a really good team going. We got 8 solid kids, 2 girls, 6 boys going for that championship. They should do pretty well. And I got involved in sort of the same story here. As my son was going on 16 years old, going in 9th grade. We had the pool in the backyard, had the big screen TV, and all of a sudden one day I just went, well, where's your friends? When I was in 9th grade, I was going to my friend's house, or they were coming to my house, and there wasn't any friends. And I realized we were very busy. We went to Boy Scouts. We had traveled the world with Boy Scouts, but he didn't have friends. I realized then he'd never been invited to a birthday party, a sleepover. He had the Boy Scout friends, but no, he didn't want to go back to the football game or to the dance at school. And so when I asked school, they said, well, no, he has lots of friends. And that is the biggest thing that happens for these kids, is that they have friends at school, but they're not bleeding outside of the school. Mm-hmm. And they're not comfortable, and they're not being invited to the other things. So this is that place where they get to come and hang out with their friend. When they go to nationals, or they have to travel to compete, because we cover all of Western Washington for our games, for our teams, they have to travel. That's where they might meet their best friend. That's where them and that best friend are going to pick their college together, and they're going to go off, and they're going to, move through. They're going to see. It's sort of that. Remember that one time there's a little 7-year-old rolled into our basketball team, and right away he goes, "Grandma, look there's other people in wheelchairs." And I thought, I know what school you go to. There's kids in wheelchairs there, but he knew he was different. He knew that he pushed his chair himself. He knew that he was the only one in that classroom. is most of our kids aren't in special ed. They're in regular ed, and they're the only, we have over 30 kids just in our basketball program, and none of them go to the same school. So this is where their friends are.
And I understand you have veterans, too, participating in Seattle Adaptive Sports.
On Mike's team, we have 5 veterans that are playing. So have either served in war or been injured in war. And so we also do sled hockey, and we also do power soccer. And each of those teams have some wounded veterans.
Well, it is clear that Seattle Adaptive Sports does a tremendous job helping so many people like Mike. Unfortunately, it probably requires a lot of money. Because if you talk about the wheelchairs, you talk about equipment that is very, very expensive. So who funds this?
We do. So it's really hard. So, we're a nonprofit, so we rely a lot on fundraising. We rely completely on volunteers. A grant, going out and looking for grants, there's a few out there who specifically get this, but most grants aren't available for sports. And I get that. Most people can do sports. You can go do sports in your school. You can do sports after school. You can go pick up a ball in your neighborhood. But for our athletes, that's not available at the school level, let alone they probably can't get to the court in their neighborhood. Who would they play with? And even when they go to a YMCA at 5:30 in the morning, they only get a few minutes because the stand-up guys come in, and there's more of them. So this is it. So Seattle Parks has been getting us some court space, so that's been a huge expense that we haven't had to pay for. But mostly just through fundraising and getting the word out, and people just liking what we do. We got 4 teams we didn't expect going to nationals, and it's costing $30,000 to get these guys to the team. So we need some help.
How can we help?
So making a donation, it would be just awesome. $10 times 1,000 people is a big donor. They can donate more than $10. You're right.
They can donate $1,000 if they want to.
Right.
Let's be honest. How much does it cost to send one player to the national championship?
Over $1,000 will be one player each to go, and we got.
By the way, let's say it's going to represent our city, so.
Right, yeah. Seattle, and we're the only Sonics left in town.
Exactly.
So it's, and when they go to nationals, these juniors are going to meet these 8 coaches. This junior team that went last year, I remember just in Malik even, we were in the airport, and he goes, I get it. That was pretty awesome. A college coach talked to me. I saw those guys getting awards for good grades. I got them getting awards for being the most valuable player in the game. And this kid has come back different. He's a different kid from going there. He's very concentrated on his grades. He's made a big shift and change in something that wasn't ever supported. So he gets to do that. But then also the adults, or even our women. It's huge for women. There's women out there that love sports. And it's even in the able-bodied world, it's hard to get groups of women together to play sports. But for these women, it's very crucial to get some of these younger players to get to a women's nationals because they get to see where they measure up. Because right now they're only playing on co-ed teams. It's a little harder for them to measure up against guys.
Yeah.
So here they get to play as a group. And their coach is a Paralympic past player herself, so she's really bringing something to the game. We have 2 girls who tried out for the nationals team this year, so they get to have that piece that they can call them because that's what makes them up. They like sports.
Okay, you convinced me. I want to donate money, but where do I go to donate the money?
So the best place to do is just like us on Facebook. We're right there, our very first post on Facebook. Go see all our pictures, see what we do. And there's a donation page right there. Click on that. You can go to our website. We're Seattle Adaptive Sports, our name, .org, and click on the Donate Today page, and there's a PayPal link. But the Facebook, probably everybody's on Facebook. That's really easy. There's a post right there pinned to the top. Just click on that. We got a GoFundMe that's going to get going here pretty soon. So we'll put that up on our Facebook too.
Facebook is Seattle Adaptive Sports.
Yep, Seattle Adaptive Sports is our Facebook group. Yep.
I would love to hear from you, Malik. Tell us, once you started playing with Seattle Adaptive Sports, what things did you have to start doing?
Ooh, I had to be one of the leaders, on the team, and also encourage, younger youth who, really can't play as well as, some players on the team or as myself, I have to encourage them to keep, striving and keep looking to get better, and not just give up, because you give up dreams,
You've been there.
Yeah. And it keeps you in a dark spot, And so...
and what do you want now in life? Now that you changed your life is different. You are teaching people. You have a completely different perspective, a purpose. What do you see in your future?
Wow. A long time ago, this probably wasn't even reaching my mind to even think about. I want to become or do wheelchair basketball, become a Paralympian, and later down the road become a lawyer.
Oh.
Yeah, so, but working and getting the good grades, that's all in the steps today and tomorrow, and then I'm going to get there eventually, but, at the end of the day, I have to keep my head, on the right track and helping youth, just keeping the program running and helping people want to become better, just as a person, not just as a basketball player, even as a person,
What does your family say about you after your change?
My mother, she can't believe it. There's a lot of things she want to support me with, but she can't, do that herself. And, my father, it's hard, for him to even do it. So, my foster parents, they keep me going in doing things that I never thought I can be able to do.
Yeah.
And
how about your aunt? The one that pushed you to go to Seattle Adaptive Sports.
Me and my auntie, we haven't really been in contact, due to my, my ineligibility of reaching out to her.
Oh.
I just, I need to, I have a big family, so I need to get in contact with everyone.
Yeah, that's the problem with people like us, with big families.
Yeah.
But you know what? Malik's been an inspiration to me. And not only, I've known Malik by watching him play basketball, and certainly that pushes me. So to watch him play and the way he handles the ball and shoots the ball and gets around and up and down the court, that's inspirational to me. But when I hear his story, that's an inspiration. His life changed in such an amazing way, and then Seattle Adaptive Sports turned his life around, not just to be able to compete and play basketball, but to set certain goals for himself beyond basketball, beyond sports, lifetime goals, which you may not have even considered before your injury.
Right. And that's very true, because, there's not even, you can't even describe, the things that were flowing through my head just because of where I was in life, and now that, I'm all set, my foster parents support me 100%, Tammy supports me 100%, my teammates support me 100%, sky's the limit, and
Well, I gotta say, first off, thank you guys, because you guys are examples of society. You teach us never to give up. And Tammy, thank you for giving them the chance to do that.
It's about ability. It's just, we were talking earlier on this whole Sonics coming back to Seattle. Oh, we'd love to have the Sonics come back to Seattle. Our uniforms are getting a little warm. But, in helping get the Sonics back, our message was, where do that halftime, we would do a halftime every year right before we go to nationals. Where do we get an audience of 20,000 people to show ability? That opens a door for employment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
These guys now, maybe they won't get the job. They don't have the right skills, but they're going to get the interview.
Yeah.
Because somebody saw ability and didn't see a wheelchair or a missing limb or some struggle.
And who doesn't like a fighter?
Right. So that's what we're about. We're about ability and changing lives. And Malik's being very modest about his story, but he has an amazing story and where he's going, and I just can't be more excited for his future. It's just amazing.
So if you just tuned in, we were talking to Tammy English. She is, you were kind of a co-founder of Seattle Adaptive Sports in a way. Mm-hmm. Wow. We also were talking to Mike Schiller and Malik Williams, who play in the basketball teams that are going to the national championship in Kentucky, and they need money. They have 4 teams that have to go there. They need your support. They need money. So the easiest way to help is to go to find them on Facebook, Seattle Adaptive Sports, or go to their webpage, seattleadaptivesports.org, and then you can make a big impact with your donation. So thank you for joining us today, but thank you to everyone that is going right now to help.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank
thanks.
you very much.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you so much for joining us once again on The Connection. Talk to you next week.